Hello there, my name is Lynn and today I'm going to give you a demonstration on how we currently generate electricity using a model steam train and a hand generator. The other thing we're doing is also understanding, and at the end of today you should be able to explain how we transfer, which means to move from one place to another, and transform energy into one form to another by the end of this demonstration. All right, let's get started. The fuel source that we use to generate electricity in most of the world today is actually coal. Now, coal is considered a fossil fuel because millions of years ago, when there were lots of plants, they became squashed under heat and pressure, and this is what we've ended up with today. Now, in order to use coal, we need to do something to it. But I'm not going to use the coal today because it's too much to actually heat up in my demonstration. So I'm going to use a pretend coal, which is a hexamine tablet or a fuel tablet in replace, because that is easier to light up. Okay, so the form of energy that we're looking at when we have coal is chemical energy. That's the form that it's in, and we're going to change that form. All right, to do that, I need to light it up. So I'll light it up with my lighter, and we're going to transform the energy into a type of heat energy or thermal energy. Just takes a couple of seconds to get it alight. Okay, there we go. So we have the hexamine or the fuel tablet alight, and now we have what we consider to be a thermal energy. I'm going to place the coal underneath my little vessel there, which is actually full of water. So we've got chemical energy now being converted to thermal energy. Okay, now this little vessel of water is going to heat up as the fuel transfers from the heat tablet into the water. And what's going to happen when you get water heated, as we know, steam is very light, it's actually going to move out of the vessel under heat and pressure. It's going to move down there, and it's actually going to turn this little piston, which is connected to this little wheel. It just takes a few minutes for that to happen. So we'll just wait a few minutes and we'll see that happens. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the little wheel turning. There's enough heat and pressure inside the little vessel to force the steam out, turn the piston and turn the wheel. Now, if I move that over, we haven't fully yet created electricity. I really need to join this up with my hand generator in order to demonstrate the process fully. Now here I have a hand generator and I can turn the wheel. And if I turn the wheel and have that connected to a generator, which is basically a big magnet with a bunch of wire inside, I can turn the wheel, which turns the copper wire inside, which then transforms the energy into electrical energy, and that then transfers down the wire and makes my little light come on. So if you see that right now, I could do that. So all I would really need to do for that to happen would be to connect this wheel with that wheel with some sort of belt or device, and I could have electricity generated. That is how, boys and girls, we generate that in a coal-fired power station. Unfortunately, the problem with that, as was just demonstrated by the wheel here, as the fuel does not last forever, it is eventually going to run out. It is a non-renewable resource. It's not something that we can use forever. It's not sustainable, so it will run out. That is one of the problems with coal. It is quite readily available. We can dig it up under the ground, but one problem, it will run out, and number two, it is very polluting. It is one of the biggest contributors to, it's a greenhouse gas, and it contributes to global warming, which is of course having many environmental problems or environmental impacts. So we need to be looking at different alternatives And there are many out there and many countries that are actually exploring those as well. So okay, just to sum up what we've done this afternoon in order to generate electricity using coal, our little steam engine and hand generator to help us, we've started out with chemical energy from the coal. Now the energy in there is actually stored. We call that potential because it's not doing anything until we actually heat it up. So we have the chemical energy. Once we heat it up, we end up with heat energy or thermal energy. The heat from the fuel tablet transfers into the water. That then heats up and makes the steam. The steam causes, the steam moves out this little tube here, and it is connected to a piston. Now it is a moving part. A moving part is then a new form of energy called mechanical energy, and it is another word for moving or mechanical energy is kinetic energy. Anytime we get something to move, we refer to it as kinetic energy. And the energy transfers from the piston to the wheel. The wheel, if was connected to this wheel, we could have it turning. And all we really need to do once we get a turning wheel is connect it to a generator. And a generator is just a giant magnet, which has a bunch of copper wire on the inside. If we can turn that copper wire inside a magnet, we can make the little electrons line up, and we now have electrical energy. The energy then will transfer down the little wires, and once it reaches the light, will actually transform into light energy. So we've gone all the way from chemical energy right through this process into light energy. And that is how, boys and girls, we actually generate electricity. And we can now, or you should be able to explain how energy can actually transfer and transform from one form to another. We've also discussed the problems with using coal as a fuel source. One, it's going to run out, it's not renewable. And number two, it is very polluting and is contributing as a greenhouse gas, particularly carbon dioxide, to global warming. And in the next video, we'll look at some alternatives in the form of solar energy, hydroelectricity, and wind energy. Thank you for listening.